In this episode, I'll be discussing the 4 product areas that we are dealing with now. This is Noise Engineers Podcast, episode number 14, brought to you by Sound Solutions, an independent acoustical consulting firm you can find them at noiseengineers.com. I'm Bill Holliday. Thanks for joining me. Hope your New Year's is going well. Noise Expert, which is our sister company, has started providing acoustical products, and the goal of this is to be able to provide a complete solution. I do a lot of consulting work where I'm just providing recommendations, and then clients are left on their own to implement them. I do send possible contractors or give information on what products to use, but we're trying to offer a complete solution so that if anyone wants to just solve a problem in their office, school, factory, that we could come in, make recommendations, and go right through to installation. So the 4 areas that we're providing are acoustical wall panels, loaded vinyl, fiberglass absorption, and metal barriers slash absorption. And we chose these just 4 basic areas, and there's a lot of other acoustical needs out there, but we're just starting with these areas. We'll provide recommendations for other products if needed, and we'll provide contacts for competitors. If someone wants to install, we'll provide material if they want to install them themselves, but if they want to go with someone else, we have lots of options. This just provides a complete, easy, if you have an issue, we'll see it right to the end. We've had some projects in Mexico where we've had some companies having difficulty finding suppliers and getting materials, and so that kind of drove the idea of we'll handle the whole situation if they want. So acoustic wall panels, what are they? These are 6 pound per cubic foot density fiberglass, so just kind of stiff fiberglass wrapped with a fire retardant fabric, or you can use some kind of perforated vinyl or other type of finish, but most commonly it's an any color fabric wrapped around it. They're usually 1 or 2 inches thick. You can do something different, but 1 or 2 is standard. And standard sizes are anything rectangular, but with increments of 2 feet. So it could be 4 by 6, 4 by 8. Of course, you can get other sizes, but the cost goes up a little. But that's standard, 2-foot increments. And that adds absorption to a space, and it's attractive. So that would be appropriate for wall paneling in an office like what I have, or you can also get prints put on them. You could, if you have a PDF or an image, some JPEG type image, they have a certain format they like, but an image file, they can put it right on that print or right on that panel, and it looks nice. It's like hanging up a piece of artwork. The next one, so acoustic wall panels, number 1. Number 2, mass loaded vinyl. This is heavy, damped material. I guess it was like lead years ago when it was safe to use lead, when it wasn't found out that it wasn't safe to use it. It's just this heavy mass that's damped. It's a great barrier material. And there's 2 types of MLV or mass loaded vinyl that we deal with. One is just the MLV, straight barrier. You can hang it on a fence to create a barrier. Great for pickleball courts or just dividing yards. If you have a chain link fence, you hang it over it. It provides a nice solid barrier. The sound transmission reduction there is about 20 dB. You can get it in different thicknesses, different weights. But so most of the noise, if a barrier you're trying to get 8 to 10 dB noise reduction, let's say, most of it's going to diffract over the top. This provides enough mass that it's not coming through. You just have to be careful on the seams. That also works for enclosures. These are flexible enclosures. We've done this in industrial settings where you're putting up barriers, either portable barriers or enclosing or partially enclosing a piece of equipment. We get the metal framework that we make and then hang this on the framework. So that's straight metal barrier or MLV barrier, and the other is quilted. So it has a fiberglass that's compressed and stitched right to the MLV, the mass-loaded vinyl. So you have this barrier with an absorptive face, and it can have an absorptive side on one side. It could have absorption on both sides. It's not the greatest absorption. It does pretty well. The noise reduction class, the amount of noise that gets absorbed is in the 0.8 range, so most of it's getting absorbed. It can be 2 inches thick, compressed. It's very easy to use. You can wash it. It's good for industrial settings. It actually looks nice. You can build enclosures, partial enclosures from it. We have installed it outdoors. And what's nice is if you're building an enclosure around a piece of equipment, instead of just the noise getting reflected around, it's actually getting absorbed. We have done the case for indoor installations where we just use the normal MLV, and then we use fiberglass and attach it to it. So it's absorbing, it's not compressed, it's absorbing, but it's not washable. It's not as cleanable in that, it's not as pretty either. The quilted's really nice. We have had it in outdoor installations. It's hard to say the lifetime of it. I mean, I'd say a 5-year. It depends on how much use it's getting, but 5 to 10 year. The vinyl that hangs on a fence, you want to connect it well at the top, and we use grommets to be able to connect it at the top. And we actually leave it flapping at the bottom just so that it'll dissipate if there's wind loads. You know, if there's a lot of wind, it'll have a place to go. But we connect one panel to another. They come in 4 foot wide on rolls, but we put in the grommets and cut them as needed and connect them together at the top, leave them open at the bottom. Although when there isn't wind, you know, they make a nice seal there at the bottom. All right, that's MLV. Okay. The other is scrim-faced or some kind of faced fiberglass. And this is just a cheap way to get absorption. It's not the prettiest. You're putting fiberglass. It's denser than the pink rolls you put in your attic. But it's usually got a black face. It's duct liner. It's what you'd put in HVAC duct work. But where we use this is mostly ceilings. So we've done a lot of industrial installations, factories. And what we're doing is just trying to get cheap absorption in an environment. And it's cheap. You can connect pins where the fiberglass goes right up against. You put a cap to hold it in place. You could put some kind of facing on it if you want, or usually they just come with the facing on the roll. And it could be black, white, any color you want. It could be used for lagging. We've done that for lagging a piece of ductwork. You use the fiberglass, and then you can use the MLV to lag a section of duct or a piece of equipment. The nice thing with that fiberglass, it provides some isolation between the shaking machine or ductwork and that mass-loaded vinyl, so they're not all moving together. You're not directly wrapping right up against it. You can also use the quilted in the wrapping case, depending on your access and how easy it is to accomplish. The MLV, I just had another comment. We connect them a lot of times with grommets or with Velcro. So depending on the access that's needed, there's a few ways to attach them or connect them. So those scrim face, the fiberglass, we've used it on the inside of enclosures, MLV enclosures or other enclosure types, ceilings, industrial settings. It's not appropriate for an office. It's just cheap absorption. That's the goal. All right. The last area is perforated metal barriers. These are lightweight panels. They have a solid exterior side, fiberglass in the middle, and then perforated metal on the noise source side. And so these can be put up, let's just say for a train, you can put up panels that would absorb the noise, not just block it where it's diffracting over, especially in the situation of a train where noise could be hitting the wall, bouncing back to the train, hitting the wall, bouncing back to the train. You can get multiple paths with the reflected paths over the barrier, and so the absorption helps remove that reflection. Same thing with the highway. You put up a barrier, you get the road noise hitting the barrier and then bouncing back. It protects the houses behind the barrier, but it's adding noise to the homes or whatever, to the properties on the other side of the highway or road, whatever it is. For equipment, HVAC equipment outside, it's a more permanent solution than the MLV and absorption, the mass load vinyl and absorption. Although the MLV we've had, the quilted outdoors, 5 to 10 years, we're saying that the unquilted, at least 10 to 15 years. This would be a more permanent solution. It's more expensive, heavier, but you can construct a barrier. And what's nice too, you have some HVAC air handling unit outside. It's a barrier with absorption so that it's not reflecting the noise to the other direction or reflecting it off the equipment and not providing as much attenuation as if you have the absorption. The other thing we have are metal panels and absorptive panels, sorry. So there's the metal barrier, hard metal, fiberglass, and absorption. The other thing is just fiberglass and perforated metal. What did I say? It's solid metal, fiberglass, perforated metal. That's how we do it. The perforated metal protects the fiberglass. It acoustically is transparent to let the noise go through and get absorbed. Just the absorptive panels is fiberglass with perforated metal outside. So if you have an existing wall, but you want to add absorption, that would be the application. This could be also used interior in an industrial situation. You have the walls in a facility, fiberglass, perforated metal. It's protecting it from bumps, from if you just put up fiberglass or the acoustic panels, a piece of equipment could easily rip those apart, whereas this would be more protective. We've also do design, we, meaning Noise Expert, does design and install custom enclosures that have absorption. They can have transparent sections, they can have doors, they can come apart as needed for access to equipment. We've been working on big presses, industrial presses that we are fully or partially enclosing. The full enclosures do have lighting and ventilation as well. All right, so we're excited to be offering some complete solutions. I'll get back, I think next episode I'm going to be talking about HUD. I'll get back to just the consulting issues. But I did want to let you know that's an option as well. We do the consulting, same as always. Sound Solutions is doing the same. Noise Expert is taking on the providing materials and if desired, installing materials, acoustic materials. And those are the areas: acoustic wall panels, loaded vinyl with absorption or not, fiberglass absorption, and metal barriers and metal absorption. All right, let me know if you have any questions, comments, anything else we should be that's high on your list. Those are what we see the most demand for, or at least in the area we're dealing with. That's what we see a lot of need for and that we feel comfortable dealing with. There's other things, floating floors, that we're not equipped or We could tell you how to get them done, but we're not going to be installing those anytime soon. That wraps up episode 14. Again, next podcast, I think I'm dealing with HUD. I'll talk about the HUD issues for noise, of course. Thank you for listening to Noise Engineers Podcast. I try to provide you with knowledge, resources to address acoustical issues. I'm Bill Holliday. This podcast is brought to you by Sound Solutions Acoustical Consulting at noiseengineers.com. We have a new site. We're slowly migrating everything to noiseengineers.com, but it's a process. So the Sound Solutions site is still up as well, but it'll be coming down eventually. I appreciate any feedback you have. You can email me, bill@noiseengineers.com, or Facebook. There's a bunch of links at our website for other social media, Twitter. I'm not on that much, but it's there. All right, thanks. If you enjoy these, please give me a review and rating on iTunes to make this easier for other people to find. All right, take care. Bye.